Nobody warns you about the inevitable loneliness that you're going to feel when you are quitting porn, when you are on this process, when you're on this path of quitting from your porn addiction. Because you will feel more alone than ever. If you don't know me, my name is Krishna. I'm someone who quit his porn addiction after many, many years of struggling with it. And I'm someone who's just teaching the lessons that I personally learned along the way. And I make these videos so that you can quit too, and you don't have to suffer as much as I did. I watched porn for a lot of reasons. One of the big ones for me was to fill the void that I had inside of me that was put there because of the childhood abuse that I went through, right? And that void is that void of loneliness and that void of love, because that's what porn gives you. That's what porn gave me, right? It gave me a feeling of connection. It gave me a feeling of love, but it wasn't real. None of it was real, right? It was artificial, and it never lasted. It never truly filled up that void. And so when I first discovered NoFap, when I was 14, 15 years old, when I was trying to quit every single day, I always get to day 3 or day 4. I struggled a long time, and I got stuck on only day 3 or day 4, and then I would just relapse again after day 3, right? I would only be able to do that because I wasn't able to handle not just the urges, right? Because that's just one part of it, but I wasn't able to handle the feeling of loneliness and the lack of love, because unfortunately, that's where I got it from, right? Because during that time, there was abuse going on in the household, right? I was being abused by my father, and little me needed to cling to something, right? He needed to cling to something that gave him some kind of connection, some kind of love, right? And that's what porn offers you. But the thing is that porn only fills emotional voids for a little bit. Once you stop watching it every single day, once you stop watching it multiple times a day, like I did, once I stopped, that void became exposed like nothing else. That void of loneliness, that void of connection. And so when you're on this path of quitting porn, right, when you're learning how to manage your urges, and when you're learning how to stop jerking off multiple times a day, you're gonna feel lonely for a little bit. You're inevitably gonna feel lonely because you've used porn for so long to fill up that same emotional void that another person is supposed to fill up, right? And so the loneliness that you feel isn't regression, right? It doesn't mean that you're regressing. It doesn't mean that you're going backwards. It's actually the opposite, because you're learning to see a part of yourself that you haven't seen in a very long time, right? That part of you that still wants connection, the part of you that still wants love. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting those things. It's just that porn does not offer that. It might offer the feeling of that, right? It might offer a fake artificial version of it, but it never lasts, which is why you keep coming back, always craving for more. You keep going back, always feeling like it wasn't enough. This is why you might watch more and more and more like explicit and disgusting content. I remember when I first saw porn when I was 9 years old, 8 years old. It was pictures, right? It started off with pictures, and then I got to like weird, messed up, like gangbang videos. I know that might sound like weird to say, but it's like that was the progress of that type of stuff. Now, part of that comes down to like how the science of addiction works and how you become more tolerant of a drug the more you use it, right? Porn is a drug. It is a drug at the end of the day. How you become more tolerant of it the more you use it. When you stop watching that type of stuff, you get to see the part of you that you get to see the part of you didn't really want to. And I understand, right? Because it's hard to feel it. It doesn't feel nice to feel lonely. It doesn't feel nice to feel. It doesn't feel nice to want love and then not get it. I understand. I completely understand that. But the thing is that healing from that, right? Healing from whatever it is that you went through and learning how to quit your addiction, it starts with that solitude, right? I think I heard this saying. I'm probably gonna absolutely butcher it, but it said something like, a lot of humanity's problems come from man's inability to sit and stare at a wall. Because when we sit and stare at a wall, when we learn how to be with ourselves with no stimulation at all, what are we forced to do? Well, we're forced to confront the parts of ourselves that we've been using the stimulation to get away from. We're forced to confront what we've been escaping all this time. And so your action step for you is that I just want you to, today, maybe tomorrow, just sit in silence just for 10 minutes. Every single day, just sit in silence for 10 minutes. Literally, no phones, no music, no nothing, no technology at all. Just sit and stare at the wall. Because you need to learn how to be with yourself again. Even those hurt parts of you that still crave that love and connection, you need to learn to be with those parts. Because once you learn how to be with those parts, because those are you, right? Those parts are you. Then you can actually learn how to love yourself again. You can actually learn how to build connection. But it starts with that solitude. It starts with you facing what you've been running away from all this time. If you want to learn how to actually transform that loneliness, that feeling of connection into actual peace and progress, if you want the actual step-by-step system that I personally use to quit porn, where I went from someone who was jerking off twice a day, watching porn multiple times a day before even I got out of bed, to somebody who hasn't watched it in 3 years. You can click the link in the description down below if you want to check it out. Hope this video helped you, man. Take care.